Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new reaction and review. Tonight, guys, we get to do something a little bit special, because you see, this is a first for this series. You see, tonight, I am going to be reviewing a movie from Disney. Yes, shockingly, this series has gone well over 60 episodes. I haven't covered a damn thing yet from Disney. So, it's time to have a little bit of fun with that, alright? Tonight's film is one of Disney's live-action flicks, which seem to be a little bit questionable in quality, if you ask a lot of people. This one is from 1991. Again, that's kind of a bad omen for Disney films, but I'm still hoping for the best. The film is called The Rocketeer. Now, I should mention that about 20 years ago, I was watching television, and there was a station that was running this, and I watched about, I think it was about 5 minutes of it. Since then, the only thing I remember is that I watched about 5 minutes of The Rocketeer. I couldn't tell you a fucking thing about what happened during those five minutes because, well, 20 years, it really hasn't been very kind to my brain. But hey, that actually means that I am going into this sucker almost entirely blind, minus the trailer, which I watched a few days ago, and the trailer looked rather decent. So, I am hoping for something on this one. So, I really am a little bit psyched on this, because really, the movie looks really good. Thing is that I've had a few bad experiences with movies which look good in this series. So I just have to sit back and hope for the best. And with that, it's time to sit back, relax, and check out The Rocketeer. Well, that jetpack definitely has a kick on her. Holy shit. So our heroes stole a statue and hooked up this jetpack onto it. Oh. And they tethered it to the ground. Well, this is a rather interesting way of testing it.
Well, I'm looking at it, but I don't believe it.
Actually, it looks sort of cool, too. I would like to say, that was probably one of the most gruesome, bloodless deaths I've ever seen in any film. Just, wow. You know, once he actually is finally in the full, once in the full, Rocketeer costume, he actually looks kinda sorta cool. Like, seriously, he actually does look rather cool. You know, it actually is sort of worth mentioning. I just love the sound of 1930s music, or, 1930s style music. Just listen to that. It's soothing, it's smooth, and it sounds fantastic. He fixed a fuel leak with a very dried up wad of chewing gum, and it fucking worked. In no way should that have ever worked even using Hollywood logic. Good God. So he knocked her out using chloroform, and now he's going to offer her a drink and flirt with her. This has to be one of the creepiest villains I've seen in a long-ass time. So he had a whole squad of Nazi soldiers just waiting out in the bushes. If he had these soldiers, why the hell did he have to hire a small-time gang to fucking find this rocket for him? I'm really curious now, because that makes absolutely zero fucking sense. So, according to this movie, Howard Hughes at some point built a really stupid-looking helicopter plane combination, and somehow the homely thing is able to fly. I really wish that I knew a little bit more about Howard Hughes, because I'm curious if he actually was dumb enough to build something like that. Wow. Well, folks, that is the Rocketeer. I actually have already popped out the disc, so let's just get right into the review here. I would like to start with acting. The acting in this movie is really sound. Because every single actor went into it and they put on one hell of a performance. I would like to make a minor mention though, and that minor mention comes with Timothy Dalton. Yeah, I actually had to double check the name on the back of the desk. And this really is just a minor quibble. I believe that Timothy Dalton has probably the shittiest German accent I have ever heard in any film. But hey, that actually is no huge deal. So that's really nothing. Music. First of all, I would like to say that I really did like the fact that this film decided to use a lot of period music. You see, because the film is set in 1938, and they were able to get a lot of music from that period, and it really worked out. It sounded great. Now I'd like to talk about the score for the film. Now, the film was composed by James Horner, and to say that a score by James Horner is good is like saying the sky is blue. All right, it really isn't worth mentioning anymore because the guy always puts out good music. But I would like to mention that compared to every other film I have heard him score, this one is probably his weakest effort, which, mind you, is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a little bit on the under fucking whelming side when compared to other things that he has done. So it's just kind of worth mentioning. Special effects in this film are fantastic. Just literally everything looks. It just looks brilliant. It looks great. But there is one small quibble with this, and this technically falls under special effects, even though it's really makeup. There is a character in the film. The character's name is Lothar. And the actor, I guess, had to wear this rubber mask in order to look more like the character from the Rocketeer comic. I really don't know. I've never read the Rocketeer book, so I don't know. The problem is that the mask is so painfully obvious that it is a mask that it's very difficult to take this character seriously. It also doesn't help that every single time he speaks, in the rare instance that he speaks, his mouth doesn't move like a normal human being's mouth. Instead, it moves more like a Muppet's mouth, where it basically is just open or closed, and there is no way to actually make any other kind of like facial movement with it. So that actually is like the only real issue when it comes to makeup effects and all of that. So it is kind of worth mentioning. I would like to talk about the writing. The writing is probably going to be the hardest thing to actually talk about because I really don't think I have ever had to define what a popcorn film is in this series. For those of you who do not know, a popcorn film is a mindless film that is just there to have fun. It usually is there for kids and families to just sit back and have fun. There really is nothing there that is deep. There's nothing there which is, symbolic. There is nothing there that is really, different or, innovative. And The Rocketeer is the textbook definition of a popcorn film, which to some people is a horrible thing, but to me that can be a good thing, especially when the popcorn film is this enjoyable. This movie is actually fun. It is just, it's fun. It is fast paced. It's pretty much everything you want out of a summer action film. And really, pretty much every summer fucking action film is always a popcorn flick. Just for those of you who aren't entirely sure on that. And this movie really is kind of sort of a lost, gem because you really don't hear a lot of people talk about it anymore. And I really do believe that this is almost the perfect film if you're trying to find a nice little action flick for kids. The only thing which might happen to be a little bit odd, and some people might actually have to explain this to kids, is exactly what in the hell Nazis are, but that actually is just kind of a minor thing. Well, actually, it kind of becomes like a major thing right towards the end, but really, though, it's really just there, and you could actually have replaced them with Russians and like set this thing in the 1980s, and it wouldn't have changed much. So really, they are just there to be villains. There really isn't anything beyond that. But it is still a fun little film, and I would highly recommend it to everybody. I personally think that everybody has to get around to catching The Rocketeer at least once. Beyond that, well, that actually is all up to you. I mean, I actually have finally gotten gotten to watch it, but I'm not really certain if I would ever want to sit down and watch it, again, because okay, yeah, fun film, action flick, popcorn film, but it still came up just a hair. It just came up just a hair too shallow for me, so I'm not really sure if I'm going to just dive in and watch it and watch it a second time, but only time will, tell on that. Now, I would like to tell you guys that The Rocketeer did come off of the Amazon wish list, and it actually came from a friend of mine. His YouTube channel is Heavy Bass X. Yes, guys, Howard is the one who sent me this thing, and I would like you guys to actually swing over and check out his YouTube channel, because he really has some fun stuff over there. It actually is rather fun, interesting stuff, and by all means, if you happen to like it, sub him, because he actually has kind of a low number of subs, and it'd be really nice if more people could actually check out his stuff. Well, most of his stuff anyway. So with that, folks, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.